This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 1566. 1 in 2 Americans feels isolated and alone. 5 habits to combat loneliness. By Aislinn Kotifani with BlueZones.com. And I'm your host and narrator, Dr. Neil Malik. Hey there, happy middle of the week Wednesday, and welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, where I read to you from popular health and fitness blogs, and always with a little bit of my commentary at the end, and always to help you optimize your health. Now, today is Wednesday, and like I do every Wednesday, I want to share a little bit of inspiration with you. So here we go. Quote, "Kindness trumps meanness every time." Judson Brewer, MD, PhD. All right, and with that, let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. 1 in 2 Americans feels isolated and alone. 5 habits to combat loneliness. By Aislinn Kotifani with BlueZones.com. Social connectedness is ingrained into the world's BlueZones communities. The longest-lived people in the world tend to spend a great deal of time surrounded by strong social circles, whether it's for leisure or for labor. In places like Sardinia, there is a culture that encourages residents to finish their day in the local bar where they meet with friends, and there is a support system that has the entire community pitching in for events and festivals like the annual grape harvest. Okinawans have moais, groups of people who stick together their whole lives, which were originally created out of a financial necessity, but have endured and evolved into mutual support networks. A recent study combines what we know about the Blue Zones inhabitants and new scientific evidence about how to combat loneliness. As humans, we are social creatures. In the same way we find pleasure in eating or moving, we find fundamental satisfaction in socializing. But in today's busy, hectic world, we have engineered many of the face-to-face connections out of our lives with things like 2-day shipping and grocery delivery services. This leads to more than a few problems. According to the 32-year-long Framingham Heart study that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, your social network can play a massive role in your health. Researchers found that subjects were more likely to become obese when their friends became obese, and the same goes for smoking, drinking, and loneliness. People are connected, and so their health is connected, said researchers Nicholas A. Christakis, MD, PhD, MPH, and James H. Fowler, PhD. A recent Cigna study found that nearly half of the 20,000 Americans who participated in their research sometimes or always feel alone or left out. 1 in 5 participants reported that they rarely or never felt connected to people. While there are certainly behaviors that lead to loneliness, those who did not feel lonely shared 5 common lifestyle traits. These 5 commonalities are also some of the Power 9 lifestyle characteristics of the longest-lived people in the world. The key is to achieve balance when finding the right approach for these behaviors, as those who reported getting too little or too much of these activities had higher loneliness scores. Sleep. People from the Blue Zones typically sleep about 7 to 8 hours every night. The study found that those who slept the right amount have lower loneliness scores than those who sleep more or less than desired. Right tribe. In Icaria, Sardinia, and Nicoya, people find time to connect at daily happy hours or as they pass neighbors in the street on the way to the market. According to a recent study, people who engage in frequent, meaningful in-person interactions have much lower loneliness scores and report better health than those who rarely interact with others face-to-face. Put family first. Successful centenarians put their families first. They commit to a life partner, which can add up to 3 years of life expectancy, and invest in their children with time and love. People who reported spending the right amount of time with family were less likely to feel lonely and reported feeling as though they were part of a group and could find companionship when they needed it. Move naturally. The Blue Zone centenarians don't pump iron, run marathons, or join gyms, but instead live in environments that constantly nudge them into activity almost every 20 minutes. They grow gardens, do manual house or yard work, and walk almost everywhere. The loneliness scores of those who exercised more or less than desired were higher than the scores of those who exercised the right amount. They reported feeling as though they were part of a group and had something in common with other people. Work-life balance. Working more or less than desired had a similar effect. Those who reported working the right amount were found to be least likely to be lonely. The findings from this recent study emphasize the importance of social connections, community, and face-to-face interactions, which we have understood are ingrained in the lives of the BlueZones inhabitants. People who are the least likely to be lonely are those who are in good overall mental and physical health, find time to downshift, move naturally, and have good relationships with their friends, families, and coworkers. Sometimes making friends can be difficult and stressful. If you find it hard to connect with people around you, try volunteering for a cause for which you care deeply. Volunteering is a long-term investment in your health and in your community if you sign up to do it regularly, and you'll meet like-minded people along the way who will support and uplift you. You can also join the BlueZones Life community, where you may find new friends that share your desire to live longer and better. You just listened to the post titled, 1 in 2 Americans Feels Isolated and Alone, 5 Habits to Combat Loneliness, by Aislinn Kotifani with BlueZones.com. With the stresses of this last year, it's more important than ever to practice living healthier and happier lives. Our thoughts can be confusing enough. Meditation doesn't have to be. Headspace is your convenient dose of meditation, mindfulness, and sleep exercises to relieve stress and anxiety and help you get a good night's sleep, all in one app, making it easy to catch your breath and make time for your mental health. And it's one of the most science-backed meditation apps in the world, proving meditation works. A study has shown in just 2 weeks, Headspace can reduce your stress by 14%. Their SOS mini meditations are super helpful, especially when I want to unwind at night. My mind often turns on right when I want to go to bed, and their SOS meditations are perfect for helping me shift my thinking and relax. Find some Headspace at headspace.com/OHD and get 1 month free of their entire meditation library. This is the best Headspace offer available, so go to headspace.com/OHD today. headspace.com/OHD. Dr. Neil here for my commentary. So it turns out that having 836 friends on Facebook or thousands of Instagram followers doesn't seem to help ease feelings of loneliness. Instead, as today's author mentioned, more meaningful connections with others seems to be most related to improved health and well-being. As the world begins to open up again and we're able to see our loved ones and interact with them face to face, I imagine we'll start to see reported increases in feelings of well-being. Many studies have all found this same connection. Meaningful relationships with others seems to reduce our risks for chronic disease and may help us live longer, happier lives. If we can meaningfully interact with others and enhance their lives in some way, like through volunteer work, it seems to be an even more powerful way to improve overall health and well-being. All right, that'll do it for another edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.